In this section, let's look at the common network architecture that we'll be using whenever we are performing the common deep learning tasks. So when I talk about common deep learning tasks in case of specifically to supervised learning, there are actually three kinds of tasks. One is binary classification, and the second one is multi-class classification, and the third one is regression. So let's see how the typical network structure would look like for each of these tasks and what are the other network configuration that we have to perform in order to implement this task. Now, starting with binary classification. If I'm performing the task of binary classification, then in my input layer, I'll have one neuron per input feature. Now just to bring back the memory, when we implemented the task of binary classification, my input data had two features, that means x1 and x2. And since it had x1 and x2, that is two features, the shape of my input layer is 2. So that means the number of neurons in my input layer depends on the number of features that I'm having in my input data. So number of input neurons is equal to 1 per input feature. And coming to the hidden layers, typically it depends on the problem, guys. It would range from 1 to 5. And the number of neurons in each hidden layer will actually depend on the problem itself. It would be ranging between 10 to 100. And this is important. If I'm performing the task of binary classification, in my output layer, I'll have one output neuron. Okay, now this is the one output neuron, and the activation function that I'll be having in my output layer is sigmoid activation function, because I want to have the output in the range of 0 to 1, and then I can use this range of values and convert into the binary values, that is 0 to 1. And in my hidden layers, I'll have the activation functions of sigmoid or ReLU, but in most of the scenarios, we'll actually prefer ReLU activation function. And in order to reach the correct value during the training, we'll specify the loss function as binary cross entropy. This is very important, guys. If I'm performing the task of binary classification, then the loss function is binary cross entropy. Now let's take up the next problem. So the next type of task that we'll be working with is multi-class classification. Now in case of multi-class classification, the input layer here, when I'm specifying the shape, we will have one per input feature, which is the same. And coming to my hidden layers, so the number of hidden layers will be typically between 1 to 5 depending on my problem that I'm working with. And number of neurons per hidden layer would typically range between 10 to 100 depending on the problem as well. And this is very important, guys. In my output layer, I'll have one output neuron per each label. Just to give you an example, okay, suppose I'm dealing with the task of multi-class classification. Just to give you some more background about this multi-class classification, let's say I'm having an image, okay, and I want to detect what is the digit in this image, whether it belongs to any number between 0 to 9. Now, I want to predict, given an input image, what value does it have? That means 0 to 9. So each image can have one of the values of 10 values, that is 0 to 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have to classify a single image into one of 10 classes. So that is what is called as multi-class classification. Now when I'm dealing with such kind of problems, in my output layer, I'll have one neuron for each label. So if I'm dealing with multi-class classification which has 10 classes, then in my output layer, I'll have 10 neurons. And the activation function that we'll be using is softmax activation function, which we have learned in our last section as how it actually works, isn't it? When I'm having 10 neurons in my output layer, I'll obviously have a vector which has real values, which is 10 real values. Now I'll use this 10 real values and I'll send it to my softmax activation function, and then whatever the output that I'm going to get, I'll get the conditional probability. Now on the basis of my conditional probability, whichever the one which has the maximum probability, that would be the label for that specific input. Okay, now coming to the hidden layers. So the activation function in my hidden layer is typically ReLU itself, and in some scenarios people would use sigmoid activation function as well. Now coming to the loss function, for the task of multi-class classification, we'll make use of the loss function of categorical cross entropy. And last but not the least, the common task is regression. Now here, when I'm dealing with the task of regression in my input layer, so we'll have one neuron or one specific shape or one neuron for each input feature. And in my hidden layer, it also typically ranges between 1 to 5, and the number of neurons per hidden layer would also typically range between 10 to 100. And the number of output neuron in the case of regression is 1. This is very important, guys. In case of task of regression, we'll have the 1 or a single neuron. And coming to the activation, so in my hidden layer, I'll always have the activation function of ReLU. That is what we would prefer whenever we are performing any task, as I mentioned already. And in my output layer, I'll have the activation function as ReLU, and in most of the scenarios we'll not have any activation function, guys. Okay, in most of the scenarios we will not prefer any activation function, but if I'm using and if I'm specifically requiring my output values, and if I want to make it as a positive value, in such scenarios I'll specify the ReLU activation function. And coming to loss function, so when we are dealing with the task of regression, we will prefer the loss function of mean squared error or mean absolute error. So this was about the overview of various network architecture that we will be having depending on the deep learning task. Okay, so I hope you now have an idea as how the network architecture will be depending on the task at hand. So if you are new to us, please consider subscribing, and we already have a deep learning playlist in our YouTube channel. Please don't forget to check out, and there is also a machine learning series going on as well. So the main aim is we want to help you in your learning journey. So let us know how we can help you. We'll do our best. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you next time.